It's one thing to come up with an idea for a film, you know, the idea of going on an amazing adventure. But if you're going to make a movie about it, you've got to have a name that just grabs people and brings them into the story. And I had this awesome title in my mind forever, you know, even as a kid. I remember thinking, this title can be used somewhere in my life.
And he said, come with me, you know, I've got this special idea for the film that we need to make. And he wouldn't even allow anybody else in the room. It was just the two of us, and he closed the doors behind him. And he said, you know, that kayaking trip we're going to do, I've got the name that's going to make this film, and it's going to...
This title is going to take me places. And that title was Into the Wild.
And he was so excited. You should have saw his face light up when he told me Into the Wild. And I remember thinking, you know, don't fully focus on that idea, my friend. There are other ideas that we can name this film.
But what I didn't know for a long time was that title had been taken. It was a book that had been turned into a feature film.
He got very, very down for quite a while, and he went into seclusion, and he just started brainstorming.
And I'm like, don't worry, JJ, you know, this is once I got over it. I'm like, I got some more ideas for a title for this film. And I just started rattling them off. Who's the Boss? Three's Company, Baywatch, What's Happening, The A-Team, Mr. Belvedere, all taken.
These are not original ideas.
Who's the Boss? That one, do I even need to explain Who's the Boss? That title would have worked great, because once again, it's two of us out here. We're constantly making decisions on even where to land, what we're gonna eat for lunch.
These are shows from your childhood that you somehow thought that you created and made a list when you were a young man, but they're not your ideas, and we can't use these, and you have to get over that.
I mean, you always ask yourself, who's the boss here? Who's the boss? And essentially nobody's the boss, right? You know, we're just doing the job, and maybe we're both the boss. I don't know. So how did we come up with the name Paddle to Seattle? I think it's pretty straightforward. All our ideas were taken. It's all we had. Essentially, what are we doing? We're paddling to Seattle. I really like Perfect Strangers. I thought that would have worked well.
It's June 18th, 3 days before the first day of summer, the solstice. It's very uncommon to find snow this high in the mountains, even this late in the year. But we're going to take advantage of it and have a little sledding party today. And a lot of the things that we do before we get going are physical conditioning. So that's why we're climbing Bear Mountain today. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Woo!
Yeah!
In a straight line, I guess you could say the coast is about 1,200 miles long, but they do call it the Inside Passage for a reason. A lot of it is protected by islands and small inlands and waterways, lots of coves, fjords, where the mountains meet the ocean. A lot of it's remote, uninhabited, and there's a lot of water that's going to be covered. We're just going to wing it.
This is what we're going to use for the first part of the trip. Our own personal gears here, camera equipment, food. Just in case you're wondering, we're not going to be kayaking with the boxes. These are our resupplies that we're going to send to ourselves. Beyond that, this is all of our gear, minus the office chair and this garbage.
Well, the first thought was, No, still, I don't want to do it. I want to go to Alaska this spring. I just spent all winter working. I just want to go home and play. It's just not, it didn't seem fun to me. It didn't seem like a good idea. And I got back to Alaska. There were 2 kayak kits here in a cardboard box. And it was a lot of work. 2 months. 2 months and 2 kayaks. We've been talking about it for 2 years now, and the past 6 months have been the culmination. I am super psyched.
The wild thing is you can see, if you put your hand under it.
Is that your hand? Yeah. Look at the finger. It does have epoxy and fiberglass on the inside and out, so that's what's supposed to make it strong. Still not really convinced yet. We'll see how they do on the water.
Wind canal north of Berners Bay. Tonight, south wind 20 knots diminishing late. Seas 4 feet. Rain.
That was the nastiest conditions I've ever sea kayaked in my life. Easy 30-knot gusts, 4-foot seas.
So we're about 5 miles outside of Skagway.
And the worst part is, our kayaks are taking on water. A lot of water. This is the waterproof hatch right here.
Like, wow, this is day number 1. We're in this canal that's, a couple hundred miles from the open ocean. Why is it like this? We were used to paddling around open ocean.
I found my limits today. If it would have been any worse, if it would have been 5 knots worse or we had to go another mile, I found my limits. I couldn't have gone much further. Seriously, it was awful.
And we've just been seeing other tour boats and ferry boats cruising by. They'll change their course and they'll come right for us. Kayaker Josh on 10.
How we doing, guys?
See the captain or deckhand on top, and he'll look, and he's looking through his binoculars, making sure you're all right. We give them the thumbs up, and they're just like, all right, who are these guys?
Okay, copy that. Yeah, we'll keep checking on you. Like I say, if you need a pickup, just give us a shout.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Josh out.
We've been stranded on this beach for the last 20 hours, and the weather's only going to get worse. We have a small window. The wind right now is probably about 22 knots. About as bad as you'd ever want to kayak in, but we got to get out of here or we're going to be stranded for 2 more days. Guess what, Josh?
What's that?
We made it to Haines.
Is this Haines?
This is Haines.
That's nice.
It's like a nice place. If we can make it to Haines, we can make it to Seattle. That's just a feeling.
What a beautiful night for a paddle. So it's 9:30 in the evening. Water couldn't be better. This is one of the big advantages of just taking a nap during the day and waiting for the wind to die down. It's totally worth it.
We've been paddling some 5 or 6 days and covering 5 or 6 miles a day if we're lucky. And today the water's so calm and beautiful, we've just been able to fly, and it's a real spirit booster.
If you want to come to Juneau, Alaska, you got to either fly or take a boat. We decided to take smaller boats. It's more fun this way.
It is, dude. You really got to watch out because there's a little water. It goes up to the front. Water, water all around us. We paddle in it, we drink it, we make coffee from it. It collects in our boats.
Portage, use the legs.
Never said it'd be easy.
This is a change of pace, huh?
Still a workout, just a different kind. A portage is defined by picking your boat up, moving it over land to save yourself a little bit of time.
Are there tracks like this everywhere, or is this one unique?
This is very unique. I've never seen tracks like this before. But this is one of a kind, and we're a lucky crew even in the rain. And I'm happy just to sit back and enjoy the ride. Yeah!
We've got 3 video cameras. One of them is out of commission due to rain. What can you do?
I mean, ideally we wanted that camera so we can shoot stuff that's wet. We were gonna do our mud shoot tonight, a little mud wrestling, and if that doesn't work, it ruins the whole thing, and we can't mud wrestle. Honestly, I didn't think it'd be this rainy in the rainforest.
Yeah, it's funny we didn't see that one coming.
It is North America's only rainforest. It's the wettest place on our entire continent, and I didn't think it'd be this rainy.
Yep, it's a reality here.
It's raining like out there right now.
It's raining.
It's strange to get this close to bears, especially grizzly bears. I've got a couple kielbasa sausage infused with a little bit of cheddar cheese, and it brought this guy right over. He loves them. I've only got 2 left right now. I'm about to take one out. I used to use regular bratwurst, but it seems the vein of cheddar really draws them in, and you can see it works. Look how close we are to this guy.
Now tell me you're kidding so we can use that.
That's only a joke. That's only a joke. We are in Stevens Passage, and this will be the longest crossing of the trip.
I would guess we just did a 10-mile crossing. We're right at the end. But everybody's tired and getting drowsy and tired of just sitting on their butt. We're almost done. We've seen the lighthouse for the past 3 hours, and it just slowly gets bigger.
Well, what did you think of that crossing, JJ?
Woo! It was a long one. And I'm tired and sore and sleepy and excited to be at this lighthouse.
We cruised into this lighthouse. How you doing, fella? And not really expecting anything, but just a place to lay our heads for the night, set up the tent, and move on the next day. We found out it's inhabited, and it's a pretty cool place to be. We're going to spend an extra day or 2 here.
Dude, I can't help you if you don't let go. You little bastard. Take that off.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't hit that thing. Holy sh**.
Oh my God, he was right next to us. It's his tail fin. What, did you get any of that?
Yeah, I got all of it.
This must look weird to a whale or anybody that's watching.
Most lighthouses now are automated, so there's a machine that tells it when to work. But this one, way out here in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, was the last to be manned in the entire state.
I'm the only one out here most of the time. First, we had a 30-year lease on this place to restore it and turn it into like a bed and breakfast. But over the years, it's such a remote spot, so hard to get to, that we're going to try this year and have some whale research people come out, some college kids, and stay for a week at a time and count the humpback whales that swim around here. The closest town is back around that island over there, the town of Cake. It's probably about 30 miles. Petersburg is 40 miles south, and Juneau is 65 miles north up the channel there.
Basic primitive living on an island in a passage far off from Alaska. This is its own little ecosystem, with Ed being a pretty big contributor to it. So, where are we heading, senor?
We're going to Ketchikan. It's only about 7 miles from here. It's a beautiful sunny day. So we're just really getting started. If I had to guess, I'd say we're probably 450 miles, maybe 475 miles into this trip. That's like a third of the distance.
And I feel like I'm really getting my jive on. We're 28 days into this, and I feel, I feel healthy. I feel mentally into this. And it took 28 days to really like lock into that, If we could make it to Ketchikan, we have a chance. We can make it to Seattle.
Coming into a big town is always a little bit sketchy. You got big boats, cruise ships, and air traffic that have a hard time seeing a little kayak. You gotta have your game face on.
It's funky because this is the same scene we were looking at just 12 hours ago, where we could see all the way up to the moon.
I've been working on my fog call, and I'm just gonna try it right now.
Let's hear it.
Because I hear a boat out there.
I thought that's what you do when you go to the bathroom in the morning.
Well, today it's gonna be a fog call.
So Josh is taking a bearing, and I've got the GPS, and we're just gonna go for it.
One thing the GPS and the charts really don't do for us is show us where beaches are, places to land, because these things are designed for mariners and bigger boats, and they're not landing anywhere. So for us, we kind of have to use our instincts a little bit, where we think we might find a beach, maybe at the bottom of a drainage, where a river is flowing out from a glacier or a canyon between one of these mountains. Sometimes the beach is there when you come around that corner and the timing's right. It's 7 o'clock in the evening and you're ready to make camp, you're ready to eat dinner and go to bed. Or sometimes you come around that corner and it's not there, and you're not going to find anything for another 3 or 4 miles. JJ!
Josh!
Where are you, buddy?
Josh!
I can't see you!
Josh! I'm over here,
Oh, there you are.
right here.
I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Probably a little bit. This is what everybody's calling that red tide. Nasty stuff.
It's like that movie with Sean Connery, Red Tide.
Isn't that Hunt for Red October?
Red Tide. So, joke for you, and a question. What kind of seaweed do they use to make sushi at the rodeo?
What kind?
Bull kelp! Woo!
Oh my god! Oh! You just took out the bear keg!
It just came to me. That's the kind of stuff that happens out here.
What's the joke again?
Bull kelp! Woo!
Good god, it's scary. Can you believe that, man? 700 miles after reaching Ketchikan yet?
Jesus. Any one day isn't extremely crazy in itself, but when you mount that up to 3 months, it adds up.
Yeah, that's what, I've been thinking about that more and more. In pre-planning and putting this together, your whole mind is, yeah, we're gonna make this film, we're gonna do this awesome trip, whatever, but you lose the feeling that it is a 3-month-long trip until you're out here. Even on day one, it's like, wow, we've got a long ways to go. So behind me, Alaska, the United States. Ugh. In front of us, turn camera. There it is. There's Canada. Or Canada, as some people call it now. I'm gonna scope it out, make sure this is Canada. There should be like one of those duty-free stores.
Waters marine forecast issued at 4 a.m. Tuesday. Cloud and straight. Small craft advisory today. Today, southeast wind 30 knots. Sea 6 feet. Rain. Tonight, northeast wind 20 knots. Seas 4 feet. Near ocean entrances. Sea 7 feet.
Right now we're hauled out. We could be paddling, but they're forecasting 40 to 50 knot winds just outside of where we are, and we're still in a pretty exposed area, so. As you may know, today we had a bad weather day.
Curse you, Yahweh!
And we couldn't paddle, and we're on this island, so we have limited water, and we can't go anywhere to get new water. And his solution, he said, don't worry, I'm gonna get water. So I thought he had some kind of rigging where he was gonna make the salt water into fresh water. But I look outside, and this is what I see. They're forecasting 25 knot winds minimum every day, 100% chance of rain every day for the next 7 days indefinitely. So hopefully that doesn't come in to be too big of a concern, but we're gonna see some weather.
So this is Una River. This is where we're gonna spend our second night here in this small schoolhouse.
There's a storm front moving in tomorrow, and we said there might be a community here. We were reading about it, and we heard rumors that there was. Let's go check it out and see if we can get a place to stay. And apparently it's not used anymore. The teacher left. I'm not even sure if there are any children. We're 40 miles away from Prince Rupert, and out there, full on out in the wilderness. And there's dial-up internet.
Storm warning in effect. Wind southeast 40 to 50 knots, diminishing to south 20 to 30 this evening, and 10 to 20 after midnight. That's pretty good. After midnight, 10 to 20. I think the trend of our trip is going to change a little bit. I think we're going to be doing a lot of paddling. So if you're not seeing the same stuff like we've been showing you before, like communities, you know, playing around a lot, joking around a lot, it's probably because we're trying to make miles and we're trying to get to Seattle. Not because we're in a hurry. Not that we don't want to be out here. It's just that if we want to get there, we've got to make some progress. We've got some 600 miles to go.
But the fella that showed us to the schoolhouse stopped us right away, and his name's Lutz. Lutz said, you guys are late.
Late, yeah, late in the season, because this is pretty harsh climate, you know, and the marine climate especially, and you know, if you have to make that stretch, if you look at the kind of the long-term forecast, doesn't look good, because if you have in every other day a bad weather day, you know what you're going to do.
He said the storms are coming in, and it's getting awfully late for you guys to be out here. You guys are young, you can do this next year. And for Josh and I, that's not something in our equation. I mean, I think both of us would rather winter here in this small community and stay in the schoolhouse and finish it next year than go home and not have completed this project.
We said our goodbyes to Lute this morning. He came out and greeted us as we left Una. And the last thing he said was, oh, be careful, there's been a recall on some meat. The number is this and the manufacturer is this, and if you got any, don't eat it. And he gave us the number, and we're like, oh, okay. And we have a lot of processed meats, it turns out. When we were in Prince Rupert, we stocked up, and we got the cheapest meat we could get as well. So we're gonna take a look. We've got this ham that I've got a feeling it might have been the recall or the recall meat.
Have we eaten any of it yet?
We've already eaten 2 packages of it. Said there'd be a number on it, right?
Like 97.
There it is, 97B.
Was it 97B or 97A?
I don't know. You called it though, it's 97.
What do we do?
We don't eat any more of that. If you go into a store and you buy meat, you expect that you should be able to eat it, right?
True.
But it's true. Look at that's nasty. We should have never bought that. It was 2 for $4. I wonder if they knew it was going to be recalled. Those bastards. Safeway stores. Not safe.
So this is an unusual story. We were trying to find a campsite last night. Every beach was really steep. We couldn't find a place to land. And we saw some floating buildings.
We got a real friendly reception. Mark ended up offering us a room to stay in, a place to take a shower if we wanted. And today he even showed us around this outfit, what they do and how they harvest salmon. And
when you start finishing this pen, the fish on the next pen will know about it just by the sound of the feed and the boat changing, and they'll actually start getting all active and jumping and start ready for their feed.
it's the last thing we were expecting, 8:30 at night. Cruising into what's supposed to be a pretty remote area, and end up sleeping in beds and spend the morning feeding fish, learning about something we've never known anything about before.
It does taste like herring.
That's what's so cool. But this trip is it's the ultimate trip, It's just the right amount of distance, 1,200 miles. You go through so many different areas, stuff like this that you'd never expect to run into, stuff that you're not going to find in your guidebook. Something different every day.
Let's go see something different.
All right, let's do it. So we found our bear. It's not the white spirit bear, but it's a big bear. I'm gonna go check him out. Yeah, there are some certain rules to hanging food and where you're supposed to store it. I don't know what they are, to tell you the truth. There's the tree. Well, that was sweet. Anybody could tell that was a sweet toss. I never even played football in high school either. We're set. How about it? Let's call it a night.
Well, this is the worst thing that you want to see. It's right before bedtime, and there's a grizzly bear that's walking back and forth on our beach. This is where we're camping. Hey, bear! Hey, bear! He doesn't care.
Wow.
Kept throwing something at him, and he got a little freaked out.
He is big.
He's really close.
Let's yell at him again.
Hey, bear, get out of here, bear! Get out of here! Get!
Yeah, this is his house, I guess. He doesn't want us.
Hope you sleep well tonight, my friend.
I don't know if I can. Wow, he is close.
Hey, bear! We should mention that, it's fair enough on his part. The tide is going out, so when the tide goes out, there's new seaweed and dead fish that roll off the shore. So that's when you see a lot of animals come to feed when the tide goes out. He's wandering the shore and he doesn't care about us.
Let's just let him do his thing, man. I'll just assume he won't eat us tonight.
It's always a good assumption.
Check it out. We saw this move on TV. When somebody says something profound, you go,
Psh. So this is what we're talking about. We're in this tent and it's been a long time and Seattle's coming up. Psh. I mean, you gotta start thinking, wow, I've been out here forever. I can't even think about getting into the real world. I feel like a grizzly bear. I think like a grizzly bear. This is crazy.
I'm going to be ready for something new, and when this is all said and done, you know, ready to get on a bike again or go for a run again or have new ideas with different folks again. I mean, I really love hanging out with Josh, but it's a really isolated environment. We live with one another out here. It's just the two of us. And
We left about July 8th. It's probably about September 8th. So 2 months. It's a long time.
I remember thinking back on just departing Skagway, how awful the winds were, similar to the gale force we're experiencing today. And I remember saying, man, if we can make it to Haines, which is only 16 miles away from where we started, if we can make it there, we can make it to Seattle.
And God, that feeling is gone where it's like, oh my God, there's a chance we're not going to be able to do this trip. This weather is so nasty. And here we are. We're about 15, 20 miles away from these protected waters. Got to wait out one last storm, hopefully. And then I think we're home free, man. That feels real good.
We recently left the beach that Josh and I stayed at for 2 days, being weatherbound, and unfortunately very ill. We were both afflicted with a sickness I remember my mom affectionately calling the burning turkey squirts when we were a kid. And it's no fun to be sick. It's never any fun to be sick, especially out here. We feel all right to push on, and we need to get out of this open ocean area. Well, we have a decent enough window.
so we've got about 60 miles to Seattle. And things picked up real fast. It looks like we're gonna have at least one more weather day before we call this trip done. But good God, this is the worst we've seen it. This is bad. It's supposed to pick up to 50 knots tonight. 8-foot swells. You can see from here it's not gonna happen. But it's not the end of the world. 60 miles from Seattle, that's a victory. I could do this for, oh God, I hope it stops at some point. So when you paddle into a town, you never know what you're gonna find. This is a kinetic festival in Port Townsend, Washington, and all these vehicles are man-powered. They float and they move across land. So this is pretty interesting. This is also, and I guess it's worth mentioning, this is also the home to our Sea Kayaks. This is where Pygmy Kayaks calls their base.
We can see the Space Needle, we can see the skyline. We're basically there. It's just the approach. It's becoming a reality. We're gonna make it. It's just right there.
Well, right now, it's very mindset. I can't say that I'm gonna miss sitting in that kayak all day. That'll change in a week, I know it.
JJ just got off the phone a couple minutes ago with a buyer. Someone is gonna buy our 2 kayaks. So pretty much right when we're done paddling, we're gonna load our kayaks up in someone's truck and they're gonna drive them away and we'll never see them again.
Today is October 11th, day 95 of our paddle. And it's the last day. This is it.
It's just such a huge landscape and covering such an enormous distance at 3 miles an hour or 15 miles a day. You have a lot of time to reflect, think about where you're going and where you've been and what you want your future to look like.
How do you feel, JJ? Woo! Yeah! Woo, woo, woo!
I think that's been the biggest thing for me, is just having a lot of time to think about things like that. What an awesome day to finish our trip.
1,300 miles. Spring, summer, and fall. Greatest adventure of my life.
Looking good. Looking good.
Thank you guys so much. This is great.
Isn't this great? Isn't this great? Hey man, you're looking good.
We need to finish and take cities from now on.
Well done, dude. Hang on, man. That's awesome.
How about a high five too?
High five.
Awesome.
Great.
Wow.
I'm going to miss the amount of time during the day that I could sit and reflect on anything. This pilgrimage has given me so much time to just go in my head and continue my understanding of who I am and what I see as my role in this world.
Oh yeah, that's pretty extreme.
Kayaking the Inside Passage has been the trip of a lifetime. A journey into wilderness, culture, and the spirit of adventure. We'll see you next time. Until next time, friend.
And Adventure Medical Kits, hand sanitizer, take 2.
When I poop in the woods, I use Adventure Medical Kits, hand sanitizer plus lotion. Clean and soft. Don't you deserve the best?
Wilderness means solitude. Solitude goes best with good coffee. That's why I drink sticky.
A lot of people don't take safety into account as serious as they should, but when your eyesight's involved, you only have 2 and you only have 1 life. Make them last. Safety glasses. I'm here to tell you about the Garmin Colorado 400C with built-in mayonnaise locator. Just punch up the mayonnaise icon. It shows you a list of your nearest mayonnaise retailers. It gets you from the wilderness to the store and to your aisle. You're on this flight too?
Yeah.
Weird.